Coming today's workshop, the title of which is Taming That Monkey Mind. So if you've been a first-time yoga practitioner or a long-time yoga practitioner, you'll know this is an ongoing thing, and that yoga is designed to help the mind and the body calm down together. But ultimately, the body calms down, the nervous system calms down, the breath calms down so that the mind can calm down, all right? So the idea is that eventually you're not so prone to react to things going on outside of you. You're more interested in what's going on inside of you, which is much more rock solid. You have a better sort of a cognitive knowledge of what to feel and what to look for, and so that you don't have to be so prone to what's going on outside of you. Again, we always tell our yoga students, please, that if you can, begin to limit your exposure to the media, especially any kind of news. And newspapers, if you're a news junkie, you might want at least for a day or two try a news complete diet to see how that's affecting your peace of mind. I think you're going to be stunned at what's going on, all right? So if you want to try that as part of your practice, limit your news exposure to maybe what flashes on you when you check your email. Keep away from the news right before you go to bed at night, for crying out loud. It will keep you up all night if you're not careful. But you have to remember, most of the news is designed to be sensationalistic. It is skewed towards the negative. Some part of you, I'm sure, is very glued to the set or your radio or whatever. If you can, please learn to deal with it differently, a little bit more effectively. The nervous system wasn't meant to handle all this news input. It can't. Give yourself a break there and just handle it more comfortably. Maybe look things a couple days later. Kind of keep your ear out, but there really isn't any really compelling need, for really your peace of mind to be so interested in what's going on there. And that's a hard thing, so do what you can. All right. So first we're going to tune up the nervous system with our 2 chants we have been using here. Voice quality, not important. It's from the heart. Try and hit the note, but don't worry if you can't. All right, we're going to start with the first one, and that's going to start at the root chakra. We'll go ah, ma, om. We'll do that 3 times. And then we'll do the second one, and that is Namah Shivaya. And these, you'll notice that there's all kinds of different ways to do this. You can go Vaya Namashi, Shivaya Namah. All right, but this one is starting at the root chakra, moving up to the brain, the eyes here, and that is earth, water, fire, air, and ether or space. So you can see Sanskrit, again, is a very interesting language. Each letter has an emotional vibration, and when they're combined into words, they have different kinds of vibrations here that affect the nervous system, whether you understand the actual meaning of the word or not. We're dealing with the science of vibrations here. So hopefully, if you can, notice any difference here. As the nervous system this is a good way already to get rid of monkey mind junk just by chanting these different vowel sounds. All right, so let's start with that. We're going to go over here. We're going to start the root chakra, which is at the base of the spine where you pulled in your root lock a little bit. Now, let me see if I can get a good note that everybody can hit comfortably. All right, we'll do it 3 times, please, starting with here. Again, inhale. Again, please inhale. All right, the navel. All right, Manipura chakra, and that's going to be ooh. Here we go. Ooh. Again, please inhale. Ooh. One more time, please inhale. Heart, anahata. Ma. Again, please inhale. Ma. One more time, please inhale. Last one, please. Om. Right here. Om. Again. Om. One more time, please inhale. Close your eyes, take a couple of breaths. Kind of mentally go through root chakra, navel chakra, heart chakra, third eye chakra. All right, you might feel tingliness, buzz, flow, just kind of notice. And some nice big yoga ribcage breaths here. All right, so you're turning your focus inside. Remember that the mind follows the breath. You can open your eyes. Now we're going to go a little bit differently through, all right? Going to add one more in, the throat and the mouth one here. Going to start the root chakra again, please. This time we're going to start with Na. Remember that stands for earth element. So inhale, please. Na. Again, inhale. Na. One more time, inhale. Na. Good. Now the navel. Inhale. Good. Inhale. One more time, please inhale. All right, heart, she, fire, heart. Here we go, inhale. She. Again, inhale. She. One more time, inhale. She. The throat, Vishuddha chakra, var, wa. Here we go, inhale. Again, inhale. One more time, inhale. Last one, please. Right at the eyebrow center here into the midbrain. Ya, ether space. Here we go. Ya. Right into the midbrain from the eyebrow chakra. Here we go. Inhale. Ya. One more time. Inhale. Ya. Go ahead and relax, please. Just sit up nice and tall. Some nice yoga breaths. Close your eyes. Again, notice now what you might be feeling. It may be subtle, but maybe a little bit of a shift from kind of a big, you just had, most of you had a yoga class before we did this, so your nervous system's calmed down to some degree. But see if you can tell any internal energy shifts there. Is any one part of the body really buzzing. That means it probably needed a little energy boost. Remember, all yoga is designed to open up the energy flow up the Sushumna over the spine through the glands or chakras there. So that's what we've done, is hopefully got them back up and running so the energy can flow up your spine. All right. You can use different mantras, all right, to calm the nervous system down. You can use many different tradition mantras. You can use Om Namah Shivaya or Gum or Shreem or Soham if you don't have your own personal mantra. You know, you can always go to one of the many traditional schools of yoga to get a personal mantra. All right, that's another way to calm down monkey mind. You know, it's making you crazy on the inside, and you shift and you go to your mantra. All right, or you can work with many of the mantras we've been working with, Saravanabhava Ya. You know, even though some of these are mantras as well. All right, you just learn to switch over when your monkey mind chatter is getting too intense. You just switch over. The mantras always, if you're working with the mantra enough, you're always working with it. So that you can switch it on when the monkey mind chatter gets too much for you. Yeah, come on in. You're good. Just grab a chair. All right. So that is monkey mind is another tool in your toolbox for learning how to deal with monkey mind chatter. All right. Where does monkey mind chatter come from? It actually comes. It's part of the body's scanning mechanism. All right, looking constantly for danger in the outer environment. Now the problem is that the outer environment may indeed have something going on, but it's something that you can learn to deal with. All right, you know, and that's something we're here to learn how to do. Different kinds of. You don't really need anything, Sue. Just have a seat. All right. All right, so I'm giving you different tools to deal with. We did some chanting. If you're working with a mantra, a good basic mantra is Gum for Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, or Shreem for invoking the divine feminine, and things like that. If you're into a Christian tradition, the Jesus prayer, or whatever your tradition is. You know, pick a small short phrase that comforts you and learn to pull it up out of kind of your mental bank there whenever monkey mind starts to bug you. All right, you might want to write this down somewhere before we go into our little exercise here. And I did write it down on here, all right? But one of the things that you can always remember here, please, what you're looking for as you begin to get away from monkey mind chatter, you know, being a problem, is you're not looking for something outside of you to change. You're looking for an internal change to happen. A slightly better feeling of being, you know, back towards your comfort zone. All right, we've already handed out that 22-step, all right, emotional scale that should stay with you. All right, that's kind of part of your emotional first aid kit. All right, remember it goes 22 steps from the depths of depression and grief up to joy. All right, and bliss, and you cannot move from the depths of depression up even to happiness in one fell swoop. You can't do it, just like you can't take a beginner in yoga class who has no training whatsoever and teach them to do a split or a headstand. All right, we take it in steps. And so emotionally, it's the same thing. You go from one step to the next, even though it doesn't seem like anger is any better than hatred, it really is, and you work your way up the emotional scale. All right. If you don't have one, we'll hand it out to you later there. But that should be part of your emotional monkey mind toolkit. All right, so let's go on to our little exercise here. So grab your pen. We'll go over the information, and then I'll give you a little bit of time to do this here. All right, so here's your exercise, taming that monkey mind. All right, and you're going to take a few moments, look inward, and see what predominant negative, limiting habitual thoughts you may continually have that are definitely holding you back in some way. Remember, ego or monkey mind always is trying to separate you from your higher self, your higher awareness mind skills. Why? It is self-defense. It knows the moment you figure this out, it's history. All right? So monkey mind has an agenda to keep you stressed out, to keep you under its thumb. It's an old survival mechanism that we have outgrown. We cannot go back to it. You don't really want to go back to it once you see what it's really doing to you. All right? But monkey mind has a vested interest in you not learning any of this stuff here. All right? So all of these techniques are designed to kind of get around the fear-based logic and to use a different kind of logic, all right, that is more abstract and that takes some getting used to, but it's there, all right? Every wisdom tradition in the world has known this and has its own techniques for helping you get to where you want to go with it, all right? So remember, monkey mind's always trying to separate you or keep you unaware of being aware is what it amounts to. Monkey mind thinks it's running the show and is always trying to convince you of this. You're being asked to give up your peace of mind for the illusion of being in control. And that's most of us, that's a real fear-based thing here. You have to be in control. All right, a lot of people, you got to be careful about this. A lot of people use these yoga techniques to maintain control, okay? You're going to have to, one of the first things you're going to have to learn to is surrender your sense of needing to be in control, all right? If you would approach these yoga techniques as an artist would, as if it's some way to get a certain desired effect in terms of a beautiful thing or a harmonious thing, but it's a technique that at some point you let go of and you let the technique finish up what the result's going to be, but you don't, you really are looking for something specific, but not so specific that you're trying to limit the creative process. And that's a balancing point. Yoga is all about balance, and that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, and it will come with practice, all right? So you are being asked to give up your peace of mind for the illusion of control. So be careful about that, all right? Imagine instead seeing through all of this and learning to surrender more and more automatically to your higher self on a regular basis as your usual way of being aware. Keep in mind, please, surrender does not mean capitulate. Surrender is just a gentle willingness to receive. Receive, receive, receive. All right, most people are great at projecting what they want. Guess what they're not good at? Monkey mind is limiting their ability to receive. All right, you're standing under a Niagara Falls worth of cosmic blessings, but because you feel unworthy or you don't know how, you're standing under this Niagara Falls worth of blessings with a teaspoon. And how many of those blessings you're going to be able to receive if you're only holding your teaspoon out for it? You should be opening up to, an Olympic-sized swimming pool worth of reception. And Westerners are not very good at this yet. So that's where it's a stretch. Yoga is all about stretching, and not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and every other way that you can think of. All right. Okay. So remember, imagine surrendering to your higher self as a matter of course. You just automatically, monkey mind gets out of the way, and you learn to let that higher self lead, however you care to think of it. What things do you do now in the name of controlling things which could you maybe start to surrender, and what would that feel like to you? So if there's something where you just got a little thing about, I can't help it, it's compulsive, but I just can't imagine my life without it, well, try and imagine your life without it. Some of the material we're going to go through downstairs is about learning what we call the science of Shrividya, and that is learning to pull back from and confront these monkey mind scary things that you've learned that you've given your power to. All right, this is an especially good mental house cleaning practice to do this time of the year. Today's April 9th, 2011. All right, when the seasonal new year is going to start on April 14th. All right, this is from an older agrarian time where the new year started with the new planting season in the northern hemisphere. All right, so this is a good house cleaning thing to do mentally. You take assessment, what stuff is cluttering your head, what stuff is blocking. You feel a new urge of things coming up and out to grow, and you want to clear out your garden and get things nice and ready for those nice, new, wonderful things to come through. All right, these last few weeks of the ending year are a wonderful time to decide what you'd like to get rid of spiritually and figure out what you would like to move forward with in the new seasonal year. Imagine deciding to lose anything that is not your higher or divine self. All that would be left is enlightenment. All right? Your mind would be clear, empty of junk thoughts, full of unparalleled peace and bliss, merged constantly with your infinite self. Get rid of any inauthenticities and imagine yourself enjoying the very best that life has to offer you. I will quote again that wonderful Zen saying, if monkey mind's flipping out at the idea of being enlightened, you think you're going to float out and never be seen again, the great Zen quote, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. But you'll have a completely different experience of it because your experience of everything is not contingent on what's going on outside of you, it's what's going on inside of you, and monkey mind is is just desperately trying to control your perceptions of things, again, to keep you under its thumb. So this is going to take maybe a little bit of courage, your soul searching, be honest, all right, and just see what you can, even one thing you notice that you'd like to get rid of, or something that you feel that is blocking you is good enough to work with here. All right, so here are your instructions. I'll go through them real quick, and then you can refer to this, and we'll play with this a little bit here, and then we'll go on. Okay, so here are the instructions here. Jot down or journal any predictable thoughts, beliefs about yourself, your life, others, etc., that seem to be holding you back the most, and identify as many as you can. What's blocking your happiness, your motivation, faith, hope, inspiration, determination, even your sense of humor. Monkey mind has no sense of humor. The moment that you've begun to lose your sense of humor, you're taking things too seriously, you can be absolutely sure monkey mind is running the show. And I'm talking about life or death situations. All right, so the moment you've lost your sense of humor, monkey mind is running the show. You're taking yourself or whatever way too seriously. All right. Begin to challenge these blocks. Argue with them. Let your higher self step in and defend itself to help you consciously start to dismantle these false beliefs from who knows where and how long ago, and this eventually can even include holdover junk from past lives. All right? Karmic group junk. Maybe you're a very sensitive soul that's very, very susceptible to the waves of despair that come through. Remember, 85% of the planet is below the level of reasonable consciousness. The other 15%, like us, are holding the fort at the moment here. So whatever you can do to keep your awareness high is going to have an impact not only on you, but on everybody. All right? So it's well worth learning how to do. Imagine what it would be like to let go of who you think you are. This is a conditioned thing. All right, so you may become a clear channel for your own good beyond your wildest dreams. Learn to take a far more active and proactive role in your own spiritual transformation and purification than you ever dared to before. Great quote from the Western Mystery School tradition, dare to dream, and you will be given the power to do. All right, dare to dream or to do, and you will be given the power to dare to whatever you want to dream or do. All right, but you got to set it in motion. You don't ask, you don't get. All right, remember this energy, this divine energy is very subtle. It will never compete with monkey mind stuff. You have to learn to shift your focus to it. Monkey mind, at least mine did for years when I first learned this technique, immediately seized on it with, well, it can't be that powerful if my monkey mind can override it, and la-da-da-da-da, until I realized that that was just an excuse. I can always choose to shift my focus. All right? That's up to me to do. And that's what you learn how to do. You make better choices that serve you much better. All right, some things to consider. We'll go through a little bit of these, then we'll give you some chance to a little bit to work with this. So take a far more active role in your own spiritual transformation, purification than you never dared to do before. Find the inner courage to pull yourself out of perpetual victim or poor me mode. If you constantly see people as demanding or aggressive, you are being way too passive or assertive. All right, and you're going to have to learn to kind of access that inner warrior that we all have in us, whether we're male or female, to get that balance back. All right, if you're looking for flow in your life, your needs need to be considered equally with others. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. One of these people that wait on people and self-sacrificing to the point of being sickening, and you're getting sick over it, something's wrong. All right. Females especially have been conditioned to think that they're supposed to just give and give and give, and it'll maybe right at some point, and that's what's killing them. So you might want to look at some of that stuff. Okay, things to consider. Where are you making impulsive, headstrong choices in lieu of taking genuine life and soul-supporting risk? There's always going to be an element of risk. The only risk in life is not taking a risk. You are going to have to go out of your comfort zone. All right, I got a great magnet downstairs that said life begins when you step out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to learn to make these more daring choices to get out of your comfort zone. Evaluate your previous choices without self-judgment, which worked, which didn't. More importantly, what are you choosing today? Consider this and then resolve to start making choices that serve your true soul intentions. And that's where meditation can be very helpful. When I was doing this exercise before, I always try this stuff out before I give it to you guys. Guess what I came up with? You'll never believe what I found was one of my blocks. Performance anxiety. I've been performing for years and years and years. All right? My clarinet teacher went nuts. I could perform on stage, sing, act fine. If I had to have an audition for the band, which we had every year to play the clarinet, I fell apart. And you know what he had to do finally? He said, go in the closet and practice some of your scales, and I'm going to go out and get something to eat. I said, fine. I went in the closet, I'm practicing, I'm doing fine. He was outside the door listening. Okay? All right, I'm a Gemini. I'm going to have schizoid stuff like that, okay? But when I went through this technique here, nobody was more surprised than me to find, or I rather, that I have a performance anxiety thing going on. Well, then I tracked it back. I went, well, duh, that answers this, and this. If you're having trouble manifesting, a lot of times what you're dealing with is a performance anxiety problem. All right? It's hard to let go. What are you going to manifest? It's going to be out there for everyone to see, kind of thing there. So you may be dealing with that. But that's one of the things that I learned. I was stunned. I had no idea. All right. Examine present attitudes and behaviors. Are they truly receptive to your spirit and supportive of inspiration and guidance from your higher self? Or do they routinely cut you off from this source and shut out its subtle but real direction? How do you know you've been shut out? There's this sinking feeling in the tummy there. There's a sense of cold comfort. You're switching again. You're being asked to give your power over for the illusion of control. All right, however that you feel that energetically. Do your thoughts center on what supports you on both a spiritual and a practical material level, or are you scattering your energies on useless imaginings, worry, debilitating thoughts? Are you a clear channel, or are you wittingly or unwittingly hosting the debris and muck of the world? And women have been taught to do this for years. You are made to think you're responsible for anybody's emotional stability at the expense of your own. All right? Are you hosting the debris and muck of the world? Are you confused in any area of your life, and yet you still refuse to ask the universe for help in clearing it up? I can do it all by myself. A lot of this, back of this is, if you become prosperous, you find love, you move ahead, it's at somebody else's expense. That's a nasty monkey mind trap. All right? There is so much abundance in the world there that whatever you care to choose to use your energy towards is only going to, if you use it properly, going to generate more love, more prosperity, more health, more healing, more inspiration. So don't go there with that. All right? Are you avoiding what seems to be difficult only to allow it to worsen through your neglect? That's a classic one. Are you unwittingly absorbing the energies of others instead of directing your power to set and serve your higher spiritual goals more deliberately? And that balance thing coming out. Take an honest inventory of what clogs your spirit and prevents divinity from flowing through you, and then discover the discipline and courage to remove those blocks. The moment you say what you want, what you need to do it is going to start coming towards you. But you got to say it. You got to figure it out and then start to say it. You got to say the words. All right. Remember, as your unity with the divine grows, your immunity to fear grows as well. So if you start confirming when you get your mantra is, I am one with divine truth, when you start to feel panicked, all right, you are reaffirming a truth and you are denying the effect of an appearance of lack or limitation. So here's an affirmation. I release any perceived power I may have mistakenly given to people or situations outside of me, surrender to the divine within me. I now go forth joyfully at ease and confidently assured of all the miraculous good that's coming to me. I don't care what your conception of this wonderful power is, whatever your tradition is or no tradition, whatever makes your heart happy. Or lets your spirits lift is fine. Here's a denial. I deny anything that stands in the way of my accepting the divine's healing, prospering, transformative light within me. So you start to feel panicked, pick up the denial. All right, put yourself back to center. Affirmation, in any moment I can allow myself to choose to change my thoughts and embrace and believe new thoughts of radiant wholeness and prosperity. As I focus and act on this and only this, my life forms and shapes itself around this mental image. You receive as you believe. So whatever the thoughts are that you start to hold consistently, good, bad, or indifferent, are what's going to manifest. So that's why I'm having you take an inventory of these thoughts and pick out the ones that may be comforting, that you may turn to when you feel challenged, but that aren't doing you any good. When you're out of spiritual alignment, your body feels out of sorts and your mind races with thoughts of yesterday and tomorrow. And at such times, you have never, ever lost your connection to spirit. You have just become distracted. All right? Monkey mind would like you to think that once you've distracted, spirit's deserted you. Oh, well, you know, you're going to have to spend the rest of this lifetime wandering around without this sense of being connected to this deeper part of yourself. That can never happen. That's an illusion. All right? Any wisdom tradition in the world will tell you that this is what is at the base of all of us. All right? In conscious awareness, you pause, you breathe deeply, you can pray, meditate, step away for a few moments in the silence to regain your inner sense of spirit and harmony. That's something that you need to learn how to do. That's not going to be an easy thing to do. You'll probably want to wallow in these negative thoughts. That's that hook, that monkey mind is going to be throwing at you. The more that you begin to catch on, the worse monkey mind stuff is going to be thrown at you. There's absolutely no question about that, and this is a lifetime thing. As long as you're in body and as you begin to deal with and take care of the negative junk in your lifetime, you had better believe you're going to get into it. That's where your courage comes in. That's where it's important to come into a group setting where you have the support of other people dealing with their stuff in a courageous spiritual way. All right? You can't tell what's going to come up. You don't know what's going to end and what's going to, one door closes, another one's going to open. You're just going to have to find out what life has in store for you and find out what you're really made of. All right, that's part of the spiritual path. When you feel separated from ever-present divine goodness and love, you examine your thoughts and feelings for any lingering anger or resentment that may have become a burden or barrier to your freedom. And then ask your higher self, however you care to think of it, to reveal to you what needs to be revealed, forgiven, released, which then can free you to experience ongoing spiritual growth and fullness of life. And believe me, some days you're doing this every single time you are aware. It's just that bad. But that's a good sign. You're bringing this junk up. It's coming in a flood, and you just pull back and say, you know what, I'm just going to be in permanent sort of a delete mode, and anything that's negative, I'm just going to say I'm one with, you know, divine truth. That's it for the day. That's your practice. It's going to have an astounding result the next day if you can feel like you're going to live that long. Okay? It's well worth doing. Some days are like that. That's what you're signing on for. All right? But you're never going to get anything that you can't handle if you let yourself open up to this deeper awareness. All right, so we're going to just relax for a little bit here. I'm going to be quiet. You go ahead, turn back to the front there, get a piece of paper, flip some other piece of paper over and jot down what you're mostly looking at for right now. Close your eyes, and what are some of your favorite sort of self-comforting thoughts? Are they that comforting, or are they just a rehash of something you've accepted about yourself so you wouldn't have to move forward into some of this more challenging way of looking at things? I'm just going to be quiet. Again, totally non-judgmental. No shame, no guilt, no blame. What's bugging you? If you're coming up a blank, fine. Fine. Let this be a trigger. Maybe it'll hit you tomorrow. All right. At this point, if you've never been one to journal, maybe this will get you to start journaling. Maybe that'll be a useful tool. All right. So hopefully you got at least something. Feel free to come back to this. Now, you've got something perhaps in mind. And let's go through some more of these little things to consider here. Some of these may speak to you, some of these may not. It doesn't matter, all right? If one does speak to you, put a little check mark behind it or an exclamation point or circle it, or, that may be what hits you right now. You come back to this material in a month, you've moved on, and now something else really speaks to you. This is the nature of this kind of material. It's called developmental material, and it's going to be good for you at whatever point you are. So you can come back to this material 2 years from now, and it'll still speak to you, or it'll come up to you, and it'll just be there when you need it, kind of thing. It'll fall in your hand. You're doing house cleaning, and this thing falls out on the floor, and son of a gun, it's just what you need to move ahead with something that's bothering you. You never know whether this is how it's going to manifest. All right, believing that I must control the situation at hand always leaves me feeling tense and burdened in some way. Instead, you learn to shift your thoughts inward and upward, remembering only the divine is truly in control, and you learn to release your need to control and even to understand. You realize relief that this was not your burden to carry. You're not in charge of other people or situations. You are not in charge of someone else's life or behavior, and you allow yourself to let go of your need to control. And that will go a long way towards letting go of that monkey mind junk. Monkey mind's going to play on that every chance it gets. All right. Or there is a power within me that does not depend on any outer circumstance. It is fully present with me and within me at all times. Any limitation in your life is simply an illusion in your mind that your mind creates when it gives power to a false belief. All right, and once you kind of get that to the forefront there, allow yourself to release any belief that a person or circumstance can block the flow of your own good to you, and you release all negative beliefs about your body and mind. All right, these are prompts. As we were talking to Kari last week, you're going beyond insight here. Insight about what is the base of your problem is not really going to help you that much. It'll give you a certain degree of understanding, but you're going to have to learn to confront this on a day-to-day basis whenever it comes up, and that's where these tools are going to come in. So understanding that you've got a drinking problem usually doesn't help people stop drinking. Oh, my mother would beat me, and my dad is an alcoholic. Well, I understand that. Guess what? They need more help than that, all right? You need these tools we're talking about, the chanting, the meditation, the journaling, but especially coming together in a group situation. You don't have to share anything personal, but you better believe that if you're sitting here in this program today, you're looking for something better. And there is something better, but it's up to you to take these tools and begin to create this for yourself. If you're choosing to be stressed or judgmental, peace and harmony must not be your primary goal on some unconscious level, period, the end. All right? And on the other hand, if you notice an attitude brings me great relief or release, you know you have taken charge of your life in a new and positive way. So you're not looking for the cold comfort of going back into old habit patterns. You're looking for genuine relief and release. All right? Even if you had to stretch a little bit to do it, even if it comes the next day. So you're going to have a little bit of faith with some of these techniques. All right? When you worry, you are agreeing that external things have power over you. But when you then choose to shift to more harmonious thoughts, that can be the most difficult thing on earth at that point there. You really do want to wallow in it. When you do shift to more harmonious thoughts, you readily see you can't think an anxious thought while thinking thoughts of good, trust, and confidence. You can only hold one thought in the brain at a time. Use that to your advantage. This is not an exertion of your willpower, which may cause as much mental tension as worry itself. I would underline that, okay? People think willpower is involved here. It is a release. It's a shifting. Letting go, all right, which you learn how to do, all right, over and over again. It's a practice thing. It is a laying aside of worry by instead focusing on peace, faith, assurance. You let the positive thoughts drown out the worry and fill your mind so full that you can no longer be anxious. Life is revealed to you in a whole new miraculous way when you no longer choose to give in to worry. People think that worry is something that blindsides them, but on some level you have learned to worry. You can unlearn. All right? If your monkey mind's going, no, 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 you're hitting all the right moves. All right, monkey mind, if it's screaming at any point, you're feeling the tightness in the chest, or I don't know whether I want to be here, I don't think I can do this, then you're right on target. If you wish to follow Spirit's path, you need to learn to deny, let go, and give up the erroneous, false, and limiting beliefs that you may have unwittingly or unknowingly accepted about yourself or others. Here's a nice affirmation. I am no longer bound by limitations of any kind. I refuse to give my power whatsoever to adversity or negativity. Affirmation. I dare to choose to claim and realize the harmonious divine good in every situation. That is mental alchemy. At its basis, Western mystery school tradition was very big on this. So is Tantra. Affirmation. Through the divine power within me, I can accomplish anything. I learn to refocus my negative thinking, get out of my own way. Instead of giving in to doubt, I look for evidence of divine support, such as wonderful inspired ideas when I feel frustrated or blocked, peace when I feel anxious, confidence when I feel like I'm losing my way. At times I may try to change or control a situation through the power of my will or thoughts, but with prayer or meditation I immediately move beyond willpower and fear-based ego thoughts, and I'm lifted above my problems. As you pray, meditate, whatever, I release the situation to which I've been giving my attention as I affirm. I transcend my mind, my body, my consciousness, and my limited ego, fear-based logic, and I'm centered consciously now in spirit, and I'm filled with divine light, life, and love and power. Sometimes you may find yourself reverting to fear, anxiety, or doubt when you're faced with a life challenge. You shoot yourself in the foot right off the bat so you won't be disappointed. All right? The so-called security of these old thought patterns may seem to you to be more comforting than taking a different and an unknown path. However, as you learn to let go, you shift your focus to the positive, find that Spirit reveals to you all you need and far more to face life with confidence and composure, and you discover that you're at peace. Remember that the divine is always couched in the unknown, and ego hates the unknown. But if there's an adventurous spirit within you at any point, that's what you're going to really start to tap into. All right? You're going to be exploring new ground. That's the whole point of being in body, is to discover these wonderful new things about yourself. All right, mental house cleaning is very similar to any kind of house cleaning. You can choose to keep or release stored feelings, replayed thoughts that occupy your mind. Old feelings of resentment, blame, anger, etc. truly serve no useful purpose. Rather, they weigh heavily on your mind and body, and they are going to hold you back. If you do find it challenging to let go, call upon Spirit or divine grace to help free you from the burden of unforgiveness and gently learn to accept divine help. Finally, acknowledge relief that it is not and never was your burden to carry, and forgive yourself and others, and open the way to freedom and peace of mind and heart. That's your choice. All right, in times of turmoil, peace can be difficult to find within yourself at first. However, when you learn to shift your attention away from the problem and instead focus on the divine inner presence, however you care to do it, peace immediately unfolds and soothes you as nothing else can. It begins always as a quiet yet persistent whisper in your soul and slowly builds to gratifying surrender. All is indeed well. Centered in this presence, you are at peace no matter what is happening around you, and that means even going through transition. You then allow the wisest part of yourself to lead. Troubles become manageable, conflict recedes. You no longer need to search for answers. Instead, you allow them to come to you. You become clear-headed, discerning, and strong. Here you are comforted. Here you gain your answers. Here you feel deep inner peace, graciousness, and ease, and gratitude beyond words, beyond understanding. Truly the peace that passes all understanding, all right, as the Christian wisdom tradition says. Being present means being present emotionally, which means giving your permission to feel any particular way without judgment or self-condemnation. Pull that monkey mind, judge, jury off of your back long enough to notice that you are really bitter about something or whatever. Feel your feelings, don't judge them, you just let them come and go the way they're supposed to. All right, try not to dwell on the junk stuff. It comes, it goes. Your most valuable asset is indeed your mind, your whole mind, and your most important activity is to determine how best to use it from one moment to the next. There is nothing outside your own mind that determines how life will be for you. It is neutral input. The divine has no plan except to succeed with whatever thought, form, agenda is most predominant in your mind. You receive as you believe. Good stuff in, good stuff out. All right, garbage in, garbage out. So what new ideas are calling you? Towards what new, more harmonious vision are you moving, or do you want to move? What secret desires are you harboring? How are you choosing to use your greatest asset, your mind? All right, one of the biggest ongoing everyday dangers in your life is the real possibility of being mesmerized by the problems in our world, how challenging it is to stay positive when the multimedia constantly bombard us with sensationalized bad news every single day. Worldly things can loom very large in living high-definition color and stereo sound, while spiritual practices sometimes flow so silently within us that we are unaware of or even forget about their cumulative effect. However, transformative capabilities are a genuine and powerful part of everyone's spiritual nature. We come into life with the ability to cut ourselves loose from any stifling situation, to rethink and re-examine what's going on in our own mental habits, and we have the power to be made new all over again if we so choose. We can always think new thoughts, receive new ideas, be unsettled again as we crunch into powder old limiting ideas and beliefs that no longer serve us, and lay out new roads to follow into the unknown. Learn to embrace the fact that old, outworn, demoralizing habits, attitudes, opinions, and beliefs that are blocking your spiritual power and nature cannot cling to you if you don't let them. All right? It's never a matter of can't, it's always a matter of won't on some level. That inner 2-year-old is saying, no! I want what I want when I want it. Fine. No, you're dealing with that, but that is not who you are. Meditation provides sacred spiritual space, slowing down the barrage of our thoughts so we can glory in inspiration and neutralize the negative and unnecessary. Of themselves, our individual everyday minds cannot help us. That's monkey mind. That's your average everyday mind, and your students as well, if you're a yoga teacher. All right? Your everyday minds receive both the sublime and the ridiculous, and they move this mixed bag through your local or conscious awareness, and it then becomes our self-aware task to accept or reject, as we will, these random thoughts. And there is always time for the divine to inform us of which ones to keep and which ones to release. Within is a far deeper level of discernment we can call on any time to help us choose what is worthy of our mind space and what is not. When we feel weighted down with anxiety, we can learn to say, stop right there, or peace, be still. We can absolutely learn to allow ourselves to disengage from idle worry and let ourselves be refreshed instead by what the divine within us has in store for us on a much grander scale. We do indeed have complete sovereignty over our mental choices. We just don't know we do. And we are the master of our own thoughts, and we can always choose to be an oasis of calmness, peace, and clear thinking, a true receptacle of higher inspiration. Self-denigrating patterns, feelings of unworthiness, self-rejection, abandonment, guilt, etc. Absolutely, underline this, all you Western people in here, absolutely do not ever get us from where we are to where we want to go spiritually or any other place. Suffering is not a virtue. All right? It's only valid to get you to figure out, I hate this, I got to do something different. We are not made holier or more spiritual by such self-effacement. As Ernest Holmes wrote, it is a solace to the mind when we finally come to understand that all human limitation from the standpoint of divinity within us is unnecessary. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you standing under the Niagara blessings, restricting yourself to taking away a teaspoon's worth of it? It's there. Learn to access it. Remember the distinction between joy and happiness. Joy is an inherent spiritual quality, spirit deep, that runs through all of us regardless of what life presents. Happiness is often just the results of events. It can be thrilling, but it can also desert us in a flash when things do not bring about the outcomes we had planned. Joy is joy is joy. It's always there. A cluttered mind and the inability to receive what we've asked for affect the outcome of prayer, but not ever the natural attentiveness or responsiveness of the divine or higher self, higher power, however you care to think of it. We may be immersed in fields of divine love, but if we have congested mental and physical circuits that obstruct the ongoing movement of spirit, we will appear to be alone, unloved, and in perpetual want. If the divine is indeed here and now, then the dysfunction is on our parts, and it's imminently healable and dissolvable. We do not have to restore a flow that's not flowing. We just have to learn to get our quote-unquote bloated nothingness out of the way of our divine circuits, as Ralph Waldo Emerson said. Your only enemy is yourself, and the only thing that can hold you back is your own mind, as Raymond Charles Barker also put it. Spirit flows through us and is never obstructed by anything unlike itself. Again, Mr. Holmes. Affirmation: in this moment, I now surrender to the miraculous good that's making its blessed way to me. In this surrender, I am uplifted and surely guided to the very best that life has to offer me, and right now I am thankful beyond measure for it. Refuse any longer to live your life in terrified submission to a tyrannical monkey mind or fear-based logic ego mind. Your society you live in is not going to support this any more than monkey mind. This is a very challenging and very daring thing to begin to do. Build your life around your heart. Don't try and shove your heart into your overbooked, busy life. When using any of these techniques, please keep in mind that the initial evidence you are looking for that they're working is an improved feeling rather than a changed outside condition. Don't lay that on yourself. You're looking for a slightly improved feeling, and the resources are listed at the end here. All right. So a lot of stuff to look at. Again, some of it may spoke to you, some of it may not have. Keep this. We're going to give you some more tools for monkey mind downstairs. All right. So thank you for coming. We're looking forward to having more of these workshops if you're finding them interesting. Glad to hear feedback and share your feedback with others. And thank you very much. Namaste. All right.
I'm waiting for all the questions you're going to ask after.
Any questions? Anything like that?
Actually, I do, because this is all, before I even knew you were doing this has been part of my life practice. I made it through both the Dr. Hawkins, I made it through one of the Wayne Dyer CDs, and then I just started, I think either you or Dad gave it to me, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, that one's ripping me apart right now. Everybody else was like, Dr. Hawkins was very clinical.
Yeah.
Easy to follow. Okay, you either agree or you don't agree, and you can kind of get into it. Dyer, obviously, he's a warm fuzzy. He makes you feel good. No matter what's going on, he just makes you feel good.
Right.
She rips you apart with this wonderfully soothing voice.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is I use her in the car, so I'm driving and going. But some of this is right where she's at. And yesterday I had this big thing, and it made me almost have a meltdown because doing the whole thing with not moving towards something, not moving away from something, but just being in the moment of it, but not being. Yeah. A little bit held back. Not sucked into it.
A little bit held back.
Yeah. Okay. So, and of course she's always asking you. Everybody else is just kind of like telling you. She's asking you to take inventory and really be honest with yourself. Okay, I'll do that. I'll see. What it's like. I think that I'm at a certain point. Yeah, I'm not there. Because I told you before. The one morning I get up and I go to turn on the car and it doesn't start because, oh my, you're supposed to turn the light off before you go in Friday night, and Monday morning it's not going to start. Okay, it wasn't a big deal. I didn't, everyone else is, when I'm going to work is like, oh my God, and I'm like, oh, it didn't raise any feelings whatsoever.
It is what it is.
It's no big deal. It was just, and I was Okay, so I'm working on this thing with her, and she's telling us, okay, get the part that I don't get is fully experiencing that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Something that you don't like.
Yeah.
But not getting attached to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the something miserable. Fully allow it to really, don't push it away. Allow it to happen. So okay, I'm game. So I had a wheel bearing go in the car yesterday. Only I didn't know that's what it was. Like I'm driving along, I'm hearing this, and then it's getting worse. And I'm like, okay, I got to turn Daggy off because I can't hear.
Yeah, yeah.
And I stopped at the garage, because I'm going, I have yoga tomorrow. I can't not go because of this stupid car, and I live really far out. I have to go to work.
Yeah.
This is inconvenient.
There you go.
And I'm stopping at the garage, and he's going, I'm going, can you look at my car? Oh no, we don't have time to look at the car today or tomorrow. I'm going, but Tony, you have to look at my car. I'm flipping out. I'm going, I live far, far away. I can't, it's a long walk.
Yeah.
And so I'm going, okay, don't freak out. He drove the car. He said, I'll get in the car with you. I'll drive around the block and just see. Okay, it starts doing it, and he takes me to work because he's going, yep, okay. He goes, I'll get it in. We'll figure out what it is. He takes me to work, drops me off, and I'm like, okay. I'm standing in my office, which is I call the cave.
Yeah.
I can feel the heart
Yeah.
starting to pound.
Yeah.
And like, I know I'm supposed to feel this. I know I'm supposed to let this happen. I'm supposed to feel this. I'm like, I gotta go to work. I can't feel this. I gotta go.
That's your habitual reaction. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, and so I immediately turned it off. I went home last night. I bawled my eyes out because I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish it.
That's monkey mind shit.
I don't know how to fully experience the negative without going, no, you're not allowed to.
You do it in stages. You learn. You tolerate as much as you can. Then you got to just pull in what your troops are that'll help you get through it. But you learn to do it. It takes time. You go through it in stages. So whatever you did there is fine. The next time this happens there, you'll already have that under your belt, and you'll be able to go further into it.
So the part, I guess, what are you supposed to feel or not feel? I mean, what do you, do I just, I got the feeling when it was just, I left the light on, and the car doesn't start, and someone needs to be jumping. I have AAA.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have control over the situation because
Yeah.
I have AAA.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm at home and I'm in a safe place.
It is what it is. I don't know. That was okay that time. It could have been the planets in a different alignment, or I don't know what the heck was going on, or maybe it just hit you. But it's something it's a spiritual muscle that you're learning to tolerate and stretch. It's just like stretching. You're learning to stretch and to be more comfortable with these more deep down thingies. And that's why you need group support. That's why you need to, be honest with what's going on. And if it's too much for you right now, just like I tell anybody in yoga class, it hurts, don't do it. That's as good as you can do right now, and that's fine. So don't let monkey mind, it's a phone book. Squirrel!
They came
Yeah.
left very quickly.
Yeah. But for God's sakes, don't give yourself a hard time because you weren't ever experienced. I thought you did magnificently. My goodness, I give you a lot of credit for guts for just letting it hit you that hard.
And I'm going, well, crap, now I have to do it again.
Well, that's the deal. Unless you're planning to go through transition, that's the deal. And that's why a lot of people get turned off from the spiritual path because they think, oh my God, if I couldn't tolerate this, how am I going to tolerate what's coming down the path? I'm pretty sure it's lurking down there, and I'm pretty sure I don't want to deal with it right now. And if you need to go to therapy, go to therapy. All right? But there's a lot you can do right here, right now, and certainly in terms of yoga context, you can help people do that. All right? 2 more minutes? Okay, any more questions? But that was excellent. That was a very heartfelt description of what you're looking at, okay, in terms of getting back to center. All right, but this is mental house cleaning. All right, you're getting rid of this junk here that scares you to death. Do you want to live your way that way the rest of your life? Most women, second half of their life, are going, I don't need that. I really want to get to a much better place spiritually. All right, and that's why a lot of them turn to yoga, and they reinvent themselves, they turn into this creative, wonderful person. Remember, ladies, the second half of your life, the estrogen is starting to diminish, but guess what's starting to come up? The testosterone and the androgens, and that's where the female warrior needs to be accessed, and bring her forward, and let her give you a wonderful second half of your life, or the wonderful rest of your life. All right, so any questions? I guess that's it. You can just go ahead, and we're done. Thank you very much.